Solidarity people, how we doing, comrades? Hope we're all brewing nicely tonight. Welcome to Brews at 10, here on my left eye. I'm your host Lefty, welcome to the stream everybody. Got Morbius and Super Tiny in the chats already. Yes, Super, unfortunately, clashing with Helena at No Justice MTG again, unfortunately. Free plug there. Well, if she's still live later on, we could indeed be doing a raid. So yeah, hope you can stick with me here on the Brews at 10. Until then. As we get towards the week, it's a long weekend for a lot of people. The bank holiday sandwich kind of thing there. You've got the extended weekend for a lot of people. Divenia, welcome to the chats. Yeah, is Helena on with Kev tonight? I saw Kev on Turn Left video earlier, very good video as well. I may as well throw in as many free plugs as I can at the start of the stream. But I'm pretty sure that those of you watching live are more than familiar with the aforementioned channels. Okay, cool. Well, you've got a veritable smorgasbord of socialist streaming tonight. That's good for you viewers to have a choice. It's certainly better than terrestrial television. Definitely. What was the video? The Turn Left one. So it was Kev and Curtis from Turn Left, and they were talking about the Birmingham bin strikes. Yeah, that was it. A good video, but also how Labour, people like Angela Rayner, have turned into scabs. You know, siding with the council, telling the striking workers to give in. Total lack of solidarity. Speaking of Angela Rayner, she features in a couple of the videos released today. Excuse me. Yeah, a couple of new videos out today. One of those is members only, so I can see that you in the chat there will be eligible viewers. If you've not seen that, check it out. It does feature Angela Rayner. It's part of the new Pat McFadden Experience potential series. I did do one with Wes Streeting last week on the stream. That's available. That's public now. If you want to check that out again. But the Angela Rayner one, the new one, just one of the many benefits of becoming a member on the channel. So yeah, check it out. Please add a comment as well. I'd like your feedback. In fact, I'll be playing it on tonight's stream as well, so may as well milk it for all it's worth. Yeah, no, it's all tongue-in-cheek. It's very low production value again, you know, just shit impressions. It's just a laugh, you know. I do try and have a laugh here and there amongst the serious analysis and doom scrolling. If you're not familiar with the channel, if you're watching back on a replay, this is a channel all about politics and society from a left-wing perspective, point of view. I'd like to throw in a few laughs with it as well. A few tea-based puns as well here on the Brews at 10, obviously. There's one in the title right there. And yeah, it just sort of took off from there. With the tea puns, that is. And now it's turned into... it's not a cult. It's not a cult. What many are calling Brewdayism. So thanks a lot, members. There's also a members-only series out at the moment, if you want to take a look at those. There will be a new episode in that series out by the end of the week. That's my JSO journey. Yeah, thank you very much, members. Many benefits to include. All those members-only videos are ad-free, by the way. As is this stream, if you're watching live. There'll just be one ad at the start, but not throughout the stream. So there are only ads if you're watching back on a replay. Well, more. I'll be revealing just how close we are to the 100 after I've finished thanking the members on the roster here. It's just 99p if you'd like to join this amazing list of people, the Brew Crew. Thanks for helping to sustain the channel. So I can now reveal it's exactly where we left off on the last live stream. There wasn't one yesterday, of course, with there being no PMQs. So I just thought we'd have a catch-up here on Thursday. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get on tomorrow night, so I wanted to catch up on a few bits from the last couple of days. Okay, the chat's up there now. So a shot and a hit. Thank you very much, Davinia. That's gone through. Awesome. Oh, just one away. Could it happen? Can this be the stream? Thank you very much, Davinia. Silly Jerry Swallow. Probably a rum fan, I dare say there. Hope you enjoy your perks if you are watching. Thanks to everyone, I should have said as well, for renewing recently. That's how we've managed to increase the total. That's pretty essential, pretty fundamental. A lot of you have done that, as you can see. So thanks again for that, and a lot of you, again, have been recently celebrating several months as members. Still within a year since I joined the YouTube partnership program, so it's more or less impossible to celebrate a year milestone at the moment, but thank you very much. Great to see the community growing, and also, yeah, really pleased to hear your feedback and stuff. Great to catch up with everyone on the streams, and just really pleased that I've gotten as far as I have in around about a year and a bit of the channel being in existence, and under a year of being on the partnership program. So thank you very much, everybody. I really do appreciate that from the very bottom of my socialist heart. Successful test, Davinia. Everyone else, feel free to experiment to your heart's content. Could have to be several trials. There's lots of variables to consider in these experiments. No, thanks again, Davinia. Just quickly going back to, you know, the clashes with the streams as well. It is a little frustrating for me because I am obviously fans of Kev and Helena's channels. I think it's a great collaboration watching those two together. In fact, I think it was watching those two. I can't remember the topic at the time, but what first drew me to subscribing, so yeah. So I think that's most of the plugs out the way. I can't believe I've gotten, what, 13 minutes into the stream before I've reminded everybody, please do hit the thumbs up button. We will get cracking with the political analysis shortly. We just like to warm up with a catch up. And whilst you're sharing our content around social media, which I'm sure you're going to do, good brew crew, good people, please do give us a follow if you don't follow us already. At MyLeftyUK, available on Blue Sky, Mastodon, and the artist formerly known as Twitter. But for how long? Just on that front quickly, I think gotten over a thousand? Not quite yet. 100 followers on Blue Sky. So once that gets, you know, to within a reasonable distance of the number of followers on Twitter, can assume that a lot of people have come over from there, so we can deactivate that Twitter account and yeah, go suck a lemon, Elon. And by the way, he won't be listening, he's too busy gaming or figuring out what batshit crazy stuff he's going to do next. We will be visiting the batshit crazy corner during this live stream, by the way. But if he is listening, if someone tells him... no, the ads are way off. That is on Twitter. Some of them are, you know, it's obviously aware that My Left Eye is into politics, but some of the stuff it tries to throw at you is unbelievable. The ads on Twitter. It also seems to think some sort of stock investor. Well, I have talked about stock prices and stuff, mostly laughing at the downfall of Musk and things like this, but also in a general critique of capitalism. Because that's what we do here, people. Yeah, you're right there, Mo. He's probably too busy on the old that horse tranquilizer, isn't it? Yeah, here's your first clue as to why it might not be a good idea. First of all, it's a horse tranquilizer. And if I need to go on from there, then just look at the footage from Trump's inauguration, where he was clearly on something. And if that's what it makes you do, then I'll pass, thank you very much. I've not seen the latest video though. Yeah, of course I mentioned he probably won't be listening because he's gaming, of course. If he's not gaming, then he's tweeting drug-induced nonsense. But on the batshit crazy corner, on tonight's live stream, it's going to be about Trump's visit to Meloni. I'm going to talk about the court ruling yesterday about the definition of what is or isn't a man or a woman. And also the latest from Gaza are going to be the main topics, but there's going to be a few other bits and pieces, so we'll get started in just a moment. With a comedy clip, I always like to start off on a high, but not the same kind that Elon Musk gets. Good God, no. So from the usual comedians that I use, there's not been a lot out in the last couple of days, so I'm just going to take the opportunity to plug that latest, well, I say latest, it's only the second one, the Pat McFadden experience, which was just something I did on the fly. Bit of an experiment with this one as to how it'll do on the channel, because I've just gone public with it today. We'll see what the response is. I don't know. It could make or break the channel. Or maybe it'll just pass people by. I don't fucking know. So Phil, our mute producer, who's here in the studio, he definitely exists. I spared no expense in hiring some really top quality impersonators. Not just your typical central casting 2-bit, like real, cream of the crop, the creme de la creme. For the latest episode of Pat McFadden Experience, so we'll see how it does. Or it might get cancelled. It might even get cancelled before it gets to episode 3. No, I don't believe in that. The cancelling stuff. Been over that. Well, we'll be talking about the right-wing tropes later in the stream as well. Alright, here we go. Take it away, Pat.
And now on the Brews at 10, it's time for the Pat McFadden Experience. Please welcome the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, Pat McFadden. Tonight's guest is Angela Rayner.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Pat McFadden Experience. If you like cutting to the core of contemporary issues while cutting fuel allowance for pensioners, then you're in the right place. Joining me this week, at her own insistence, is Deputy Prime Minister and MP for Ashton-under-Lyne, Angela Rayner. Angela, welcome to the show.
Hang about, Pat. What's that supposed to mean? That line in the intro about me insisting to come on, what's all that about?
You interrupted the last episode to complain that I was interviewing West Streeton.
Oh, come on, Pat. Have you not got over that yet?
After the episode finished, you told me you'd suspend me from the party on trumped-up corruption charges if I didn't let you on.
No, I never. What you on about?
And then I woke up the next day, and someone had scratched "I'm a massive fanny" onto the bonnet of my car.
That could have been anyone.
One of my neighbours said she heard female voice shouting "f***ing ignorant bastard" in a Mancunian accent.
Like I said, could have been anyone.
She also said that she heard them shouting "Nobody f***s with Angela Rayner."
I got a lot of fans, alright. I did get 44% of the vote share in the last election, Never mind all that. Can we get the interview started, or do I have to send them pictures of your last holiday in Amsterdam to the Daily Mail?
Okay then, Angela.
No need to raise your voice, Pat. Jesus Christ. You better edit all this out, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Course I will.
Good, right. Now let's try again.
Welcome to the show, everyone. This week, I'm utterly delighted to be speaking to Deputy Prime Minister.
Madam Deputy Prime Minister.
Sorry, Madame Deputy.
That's better.
Angela Rayner,
whom I invited of my own free will, under no duress whatsoever. Angela, welcome to the show. Yeah, thanks for inviting me on. How have you been lately? Oh, busy mate, busy. Why's that? As well as delivering the plan for change and all that, I've barely had time to relax. Do you know how long it takes to unwrap all these corporate gifts we've been getting? Then I've got to try on all the dresses, all the shoes, make sure they fit. I can't keep up. It's taking forever. And at this rate, I'm going to need a third or a fourth house just to have somewhere to put them all. I swear downright, I've been sent stuff bare times since we got elected. What? How many times? Like bare times, mate. I'm sorry, I'm not from Manchester, I don't know what that means. It means I've barely got time to wipe my own arse, let alone get to the surgery in Ashton. Speaking of surgery, right, do you reckon I should do something about these crow's feet or what? I don't know about that, I've been thinking about it, and one of the CEOs says he's going to pay for it if we put up the tax threshold a little bit. Is that a can of Stella Artois? Yeah, so what? It's 11:15 in the morning, Angela. I had to get up early for Radio 4. Nick Robinson stresses me out to mate. He looks like someone from Guess Who. Has he got a croaky voice and receding hair? Bang, tile down, mate. Right, so moving on now. You previously stuck up for striking workers, but during the ongoing walkout from rubbish collectors in Birmingham, you've sided with the council's offer. Does that mean you've changed your mind about the strikes, or? Hi guys, it's me, Wes Streeting. Sorry for barging in. Did I leave my phone charger in here the other day? It's easy to spot. It's got the NHS logo on it, but the S has been replaced with a dollar sign. No, I don't think so, Wes. Oh, that's disappointing. The director of Pfizer bought me that. Really nice fella. Probably one of the cleaners nicked it. No wonder though, they're all bloody foreign. I'm doing my interview here, Wes. Oh, hi, Angela. How you doing? I see you still having trouble with them crow's feet, love. Shut up, Wesley. Shut up, Wesley.
Shut up, Wesley.
Shandy swigging southern swag. That was the latest Pat McFadden experience there, episode 2. So that's members only video. Yeah. Just putting a bit more comedy into some of the content. I know I do a few cutaways and stuff in some of the normal videos. We'll see how we do anyway. Probably why I won't be getting invited on to, I don't know, question time or anything anytime soon. But if you are listening, Fiona Bruce, I am available, and you are a Tory. Thanks for the feedback, hope you enjoyed that. I'll see if I can get one of those a week out. Do have other stuff to do as well. The other members only videos, of course, are my number one priority. I'm going to be getting at least one of those a week. And a lot of the content is members first as well, such as that one. Well, Divinia, I'm not really reaching for the small violin for Wesley. No. You could see it coming. There's a video from ages ago. I used to share it around a lot on social media.
before I started on the channel, that is. And it was one of him back in the Corbyn days. He was obviously campaigning for Corbyn, surrounded by people who were, you know, doing the chant, the old Jeremy Corbyn chant, to the White Stripes melody. And Wes Streeton was there, and I can't remember, it might have been Owen Jones's channel. Forgive me if I'm wrong there. But he did a close-up on Wes and, you know, encouraged him to sing along, and he sort of did for about 10 seconds. But you can see in his face that he looks like he's really not into it. And yeah, now the truth has been revealed. And bada bing, Andy Carter, welcome to the chat. Not only celebrating 10 months of standard membership, what a fine patron of the channel you are. I nearly said Patreon then. I don't even have a Patreon. But thank you very much for celebrating the 10 months membership, and also hitting the target with the gifted membership there. Matt Seaman, do enjoy your perks, and very warm welcome to Matt Seaman, as well as, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, that takes us to, not 1,000, 100 members for the very first time on the channel. Andy, thank you so much for that. That's incredible. And thank you to all the 99 other members on the channel. Thank you very much for that. Solidari-Tea. Yeah, everybody, give yourselves a clap. Thanks for those gifted memberships, both of them, on tonight's stream to get us over that target so far. Wow, great stuff. I should have prepared some sort of celebratory video, but I'll leave that for Sunday's stream. Might have something. Again, a reminder, very basic setup here. I'll also be busy working on the members only video, which 2 more people, including the 100th Matt Seaman, will be eligible to view. Great stuff. Thank you very much. And I genuinely feel great about that now. Brilliant. I don't mind having to cram more in as long as it's, you know, things like that, so yeah. We are now 100. We now number 100. Doc Davies, we've got a doctor in the house. Explosive entrance there. Is that fireworks? It looks like fireworks. I hope it's not live footage of the sun exploding. That would be terrible. That means the stream's probably only going to last another 8 minutes before civilization and indeed life on Earth begins to unravel. Well, how's about that then? No, it's just fireworks. And Nina Sadie as well, thanks for joining us. That's okay, not everybody can join from the start. I do understand I'm clashing with a couple of other top quality socialist channels as well, namely No Justice and Kevin Logan, so props to them as well. In fact, I do believe some of you good people in the chat first became aware of the Brews at 10 following raids from Kev and Helena, so thanks again. Sending the love and solidarity all around. Yeah, brilliant. Oh well, just before we go into Musk and Trump and Musk's batshit crazy corner, Morbius has reminded me I was going to see if I could sneak this topic into the chat, even though it's mostly about politics. Just a bit of science though, about the potential discovery of life on another planet. That is, not to say it's been 100% certified, but the best sign yet, I think, is the quote. Because of the signals that they've received, well, it shows that the planet itself is, I believe, was it 2.5 times the size of planet Earth. It also has an incredible amount more gas and water. For example, it's got the perfect building blocks, but it's also detected signals that are normally emitted by marine life, or would be, here on Earth. So potentially, that is to say, there's still a lot to be discovered about the climate of the planet to make sure that it's not natural causes, could be biological causes. But let's see, that's very exciting. Before anybody, including Elon Musk, gets overexcited, I'm sure that this sort of making contact within our lifetimes would outstretch even his deluded ideals. It's some 124 light years away, I believe, which is somewhere around 700 trillion with a T, E-A. Trillion, yeah, like miles away, sorry, not light years. 124 light years, 700 trillion miles. Bit of a trek, safe to say. Trump's brilliant. Nice one there, Doc Davies. Yeah, Trump's already slapped tariffs on the planet. I've forgotten the exact letters and numbers in the name of the planet. HB AC DC 123. No, it's HB 12. Whatever it's called. Apologies. But yeah, he's slapped 1,000% tariffs on this new planet. He's getting an early one in there. Now you mention it. Well, this will tie us in nicely, segue us in nicely to the batshit crazy corner. What became of... no, I'm going to have to make sure I don't get this mixed up with anything fictional here. The new space agency that he set up, the government agency, was it just called the Space Force? Something along those lines. But there was an American comedy with Steve Carell. You know, Steve Carell from Anchorman and other films. And he played general. He played a general, yeah, in the United States who was responsible for this new Space Force, and I can't remember which was called which, so if you can shed any light on that. But whatever became of that, we've got SpaceX now, that obviously is getting behind with Musk. Was it that at the time, obviously they weren't always great mates, you know, bum chums, best buds, BFFs forever? They've both been critics of each other in the past. I'm just trying to remember if it was the case that he did set up the Space Force to try and slight Elon Musk back in the day, but that would have been, some 7 years ago maybe. Space Cops. Star Cops. Star Trek Wars Fleet. Whatever. And it's not like Donald Trump to invent some sort of failed enterprise, is it, people? Heaven forfend. So that's going to take us nicely into Trump and Musk's batshit crazy corner, which we've not been to for a while. Yes, it is still a feature. There's almost too much to go through at the moment, so strap yourselves in, people. Let's see what's been happening.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Yes! We will build a great wall along the southern border.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
That is one big pile of shit.
So, people, today, a right-wing fascist met with the Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni. Now, a coming together of two right-wing, xenophobic, ultra-capitalist leaders. So I'm going to take a look at the press conference, going to go through that. It's going to be a first time reaction from me. I might skim through some parts of it, but there's bound to be a few face palms in there. I will assume it's going to be just going off the way that they normally happen. The foreign dignitary, in this case, Giorgia Meloni, will sit there nodding along, say a few choice words here and there, but it'll mostly be Trump, of course, because it's all got to be about him, hasn't it? Liking the emoji sequence there, Andy. Yes, Mo, the space Nazi, Elon Musk. And here's the thing, I mentioned this a couple of streams ago, very quickly. Why the fuck would I want to go to Mars? That's if you make the journey there, which would be long and arduous. You get to a planet that's trying to kill you 100% of the time, and it's run by this guy. This guy. I'd rather be in the hands of let's say, a fairly gifted 14-year-old protege, an actual protege, not a hype merchant like this, not someone who was born into wealth, used his wealth to manipulate, muscle his way to the top, claim credit for things he's never done, and create this cult following, because it is a genuine sort of cult following at this point, of people who hang on his every word. Now he's shown his true colours. He thought to himself, how about I see if I can dupe in some progressives and some tech nerds and so on and so forth, all of these sub-groups, and then exploit the popularity with my actual beliefs. But we're on a amber tangent alert, so let's move swiftly into the Meloni interview. Alright, people. Let's see what's happening. Oh, not that one. Apologies, you're back. Just did a Robert Jenrick there. Do you hear about that one? Added a load of people to a private WhatsApp chat, and then quickly deleted them. Hundreds. That's another topic. It should be here. Apologies, people. I'm just going to have to line it up. Sorry, I thought I'd already got it queued up.
Thank you very much,
There
everybody.
we go.
And I've been briefed on the
Take it away, Donald, you batshit crazy bastard.
Active shooting. I guess it's an active shooter. Fully briefed as to where we are right now. It's a shame. It's a horrible thing. Horrible that things like this take place. And we'll have more to say about it later. In the meantime, it's an honor to have the...
I'm not sure what shooting he's referring to. Is this domestic thing in the United States that, I mean, it happens so often, but...
Fantastic job. I would say that she has taken Europe by storm and highly respected.
by stormtroopers.
Everybody loves her and respects her, and I can't say that about many people. And she's become a friend, and we really have a great relationship between Italy and ourselves. And we talked about trade. We talked about many, many things during our luncheon, and she'll be saying a few words, but she's a very special person, and it's nice to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you for your warm welcome. Thank you for this occasion, which is aimed to strengthen our relation, our friendship that comes from very far. You know, today is April 17, and April 17 marks the anniversary of the agreement that allowed Cristoforo Colombo to make his trip. And I say to remember.
Okay. So they do... Wow. I don't know if she's aware they don't have Columbus Day anymore because he was a slave trader. He was a slave trader. That's something that she's celebrating. These two have been getting on like a house of fire, I should say. Look at the beaming grin on Trump's orange face there. And to celebrate Christopher Columbus, who we now know was responsible for the mass transportation, mass deaths of goodness knows how many thousands, potentially millions of people from the slave trade routes that he opened and gained his wealth from. Wow. I don't know what kind of diary she's reading that, you know, shows it's time to celebrate that again. Jesus
guys,
wet.
But also to remind that we both share another fight, which is the fight against the woke and ADI ideology that would like to erase our history.
Oh.
And as I know that we share lots of things on tackling illegal migration.
Fanculo. She, yeah, again, the woke, they get on so much. They're aligned on all of these things. She likes Trump's DEI program now, which was shown to be not only victimization but also a terrible idea. Economically, there's no win in that situation. I'll get on to more about gender and things like this, because, you know, yesterday's ruling, and we'll be talking a bit about that later in the stream.
On fighting against synthetic drugs, you know, Italy's been one of the nations that made a plan against fentanyl, for example. But we have been talking about many bilateral topics and things that we can do together, about defense, about economic, about economy, about space, about energy. Italy will have to increase its LNG imports, and also nuclear that we are trying to develop. I think there can be ways to work together, and the Italian enterprises will...
God, nuclear, give me a break. So a lot of the right will come back in response to the climate crisis. That's if they even acknowledge that there's a climate crisis. And they'll point to things like carbon capture, which doesn't exist, but also nuclear development. So given that we've already pretty much passed the window that we had to stay under 1.5, we're probably heading over 2 degrees rising at the moment. So we run out of time to act there. The fast solution, according to people like Meloni here, is to start developing technology that takes around 2 decades to go online. From when a spade first goes in the ground, you don't get a single atom of energy out of that plant for about 20 years. It's a fantasy solution. It's no solution at all. It's only supposed to appease people by sounding like a solution. But we know what the real things are that can not only get set up a lot quicker, but are also a lot more active in reducing CO2.
Invest, as they've been doing for many years, as you know, in the next years, I think around 10 billions. That shows how interconnected our economies are. And that's very important, Mr. President. It's not only about Italy, it's about the entire Europe. The exchange between us is
10 billion's not
very big one.
a great amount for countries. I mean, Trump can lose that on the stock market in a second.
It's a topic that we are discussing in this
right.
week. But at the end of the day, look, somebody calls me, I was saying it before, such a Western nationalism. I don't know if it is the right word, but I know that when I speak about West, mainly I don't speak about a geographical space. I speak about a civilization. And I want to make that civilization stronger. So I think even if we have some problems, okay, between the 2 shores of the Atlantic, it is the time that we try to sit down and find solutions. So I want to thank President Trump for having accepted an invitation to pay an official visit to Rome in the near future, and consider the possibility in that occasion to meet also with Europe. The goal for me is to make the West great again. Okay? And I think we can do it together.
We can.
Come on. There's not a little derivative. Make the West great again. Oh, who are you kidding?
We will keep on work on that. I'm going to close. I want to say only, I'm proud of sitting here as Prime Minister of an Italy that today has a very good situation despite the difficulties. A stable country, reliable country. 1 million more jobs in the last 2 years and a half.
Great.
Inflation is going down, so you forgive me if I promote a bit my country,
Yeah,
but you're a businessman and you understand me. So migration flows going down 60%. So we are trying to do our best, but I think we can do it even better together. Also on Ukraine, I will close. Together we've been defending the freedom of Ukraine. Together we can build a just and lasting peace. We support your efforts, Donald.
So I'll say quickly as well on, just again on climate change. A lot of people, especially in southern Italy, during the summer, they pretty much migrate, but some of them come to Northern Europe, they come to the UK for extended periods of time, week or months. They just have to get away from the heat, and they're gonna feel it a lot sooner than we do. We hit 40 degrees in 2022. They've already been in the 45, 50 degree region and rising.
Thank you very much, and I think we're doing well in that effort, but we want to get it done, and we'll see if we can. We want to save, on average, think of it, every week 2,500 people are being killed, mostly soldiers, Russian, Ukrainian soldiers. And if we can save those lives, that would be a very good thing. And so we'll see what we can do, and I think we're getting close, but we'll let you know very soon. And you've been very helpful. I appreciate it. Thank you. Any questions?
Mr. President, how much longer does Vladimir Putin have to respond to your ceasefire proposal before you put secondary tariffs or sanctions on
see what that will be. We're going to be hearing from them this week.
If you didn't hear that, it was how soon are they going to hear a response from Trump about the ceasefire proposal, or Putin, I should say, that was put forward by Trump. And that's the one that more or less includes Ukraine giving up, what was it, 50%? 50% of the natural minerals, various natural minerals. Bloody, then that's a lot. That's a lot.
Very shortly, actually, and we'll see. But we want it to stop. We want the death and the killing to stop.
Mr. President, on Jerome Powell, you said that the termination of Jerome Powell cannot come fast enough. He says he won't leave, even if you ask him to.
Oh, he'll leave. If I ask him to, he'll be out of there. But I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, please. Question.
He's doing fast,
Yeah,
you know,
question.
quick fire bullshit here. Who's next? Who's next?
Well, you're going to have to speak to the lawyers. We have great lawyers. I can tell you this, we're doing a fantastic
I didn't hear the question there, sorry. It's very quiet.
job of getting criminals out of this country who Biden allowed into the country. Hundreds of thousands of
Oh, it's about the
criminals,
Venezuela,
murderers,
El Salvador
drug
thing.
dealers. And I was elected because of the fact, I would say maybe that was the number one factor, a lot of reasons, the economy, a lot of things. But one of the primary reasons I was elected is because I said, I'm going to get the criminals that he allowed to come into our country so stupidly through open borders. I'm going to get them out. And I got a lot of...
Well, he's had the, for being perfectly frank, corrupt leader of El Salvador in there just days ago. And of course, a lot of the people who were deported should be returned. Some of them don't have any criminal records whatsoever. They're certainly not the type of people that Donald Trump's trying to paint here. So there's been a legal debacle over that as well. And they should come back. But no, the leader of El Salvador's just laid down at the feet of Trump, which is really, you know, disgusting. This guy's some piece of work. They're both massive pieces of work. Yes, it's a real injustice, that case.
votes, record-setting numbers of votes, as you know. We won everything. The popular vote, all 7 swing states, we won everything. And that's what the public wanted, and that's what I'm doing. But you'll have to speak to the lawyers because it's up to them. Say it.
What do you think of the proposal from France and UK of a peace mission in Ukraine with soldiers? And do you think that Italy should take part in it?
Well, I think Italy will have to make that determination, but peace missions are always good with me. I'm okay with peace missions. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, have you discussed what areas of cooperation and discussed with the Prime Minister vis-a-vis Italy and the United States and Europe and on China?
We discussed it very briefly. No, we're doing...
Well, yeah, here's the thing. Obviously, Trump is against the European Union, big time, to try and put out the image, the optics, that he's got good relationships with each country on an individual basis. Now, we've got Italy this time. We don't know who might be lined up next. Keith's already been over there, of course. But you can't have it both ways. He can't have his cake and eat it, so to speak. So he wants to have good connections, good relationships with countries in Europe, but also decry the European Union as the economic enemy. And he's also trying to pretend that he's aligned with EU countries in their stance on the Russia-Ukraine war. He's obviously in bed with Putin, who's been playing him like a finely tuned fiddle. So there's, again, that contradiction, where he can't have it both ways, what you might say, painting himself into a political corner. And when this man is backed into a corner, we see unbrazen, childish responses, as we always have done, you know. Which you can normally point and laugh at, but given the seat of power that he's been elected to, that should be a pretty terrifying thing.
Very well with negotiations, I think, with all countries. And Scott could tell you a little bit, but we are doing very well. We have a lot of countries that want to make a deal. Frankly, they want to make deals more than I do. Go ahead, Scott. Would you say something first?
Yeah, we've got a process in place. We're working on.
Quickly on the, you know, the T word, not TEA, but tariffs. He seems to think, in his deluded mindset, that a lot of countries are coming to him begging to do deals, as he keeps saying, and you keep hearing this phrase, the art of the deal, going around. The way that works is basically when the stock market goes down, since he announces whatever tariff on China or whoever. That's the art of the deal when it's going down. But when it's going up, they say, look, it's working. Look how rich everyone's getting. Even though it started off much higher than it is at that point. You know, the stock index, the Dow Jones, NASDAQ indexes, for example. So that's how it works. And yeah, what's the latest? What's the latest on these? On these tariffs? He's not. It was happening every day, wasn't it? You remember the other week. You could, I don't know. You could watch the numbers fall. You could watch, you know, everything going red and the line go down on the graph on the American news networks as he was speaking, you know, talking mostly about China and everything. Yeah, sorry, just having a chuckle at one or two of the comments in the chat there. Distract the trombone. Yeah, the sad trombone. But before I lose track of what I was saying, that's somewhat slowed down now. I don't want to say settled. My point was, ultimately, that he thinks countries are coming to him to beg them to do deals. They're just literally lining up to say, will you stop? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Look what you're doing. And already, as the dust is starting to settle, it's not having the desired effect. America's becoming very isolated. That might be what Trump wants, but it isn't good for the country, certainly. They can't have the economic results that they want to have without trading with other countries. A lot, excuse me, a few people have made analogies between this and leaving the EU, aka Brexit, whatever you want to call it. But again, there's that isolated mindset, the desire to be indigenous and we can go it alone and we don't have to buy from you or sell to you. We'll make it all here and we'll do it here and we'll create jobs. And you might have seen that great Chinese AI video of the workshop, you know, the what do you call them? The sweatshops, the workhouses that they're predicting will be set up all across America. Now, of course, these places exist in China, and you see row after row of people just pushing material through a sewing machine with absolutely emotionless like expressions, like they've had all of the life sucked out of them, and hundreds of people row after row. That's what's on the cards. Speaking of cards, there'll be a meme about that later. I'm actually getting pretty sick of the card analogies, to be honest. I was watching a few things over the last couple of days. They kept relating it, you know, sticking all of the card puns in there. So that's where we're at, anyway. Again, a second tangent, Amber Alert.
The big 15 economies first. We had a fantastic meeting with Japan yesterday. I believe they've been called with the EU already. And then we have South Korea coming in next week, and I believe India.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, these three have managed to keep the mouth shut so far. I don't know if Vance is going to throw in his 2 cents. I just quickly wanted to point out, sorry, just one last thing about global trade and it not having the desired effect that Trump was looking for. Chinese exports have actually gone up. They've actually gone up since this happened. So I don't know. Yabu sucks to you. What's this question all about? Let's try and get through this swiftly, people.
Go ahead.
President Zelensky has said he has evidence that China is supplying weaponry or ammunition to Russia. Do you have any evidence along those lines? And also, he said we could see a
It's about whether Xi Jinping is providing weapons to Russia. That was the question.
Well, we have a minerals deal,
Zelensky thinks he's got evidence of it, by the way.
which I guess is going to be signed on Thursday, Scott, next Thursday, soon. And I assume they're going to live up to the deal, so we'll see. But we have a deal on that. No, I have no comment on that. I have no idea. That's his statement, not mine.
Deal. Sorry, deal. It says deal more than fucking Noel Edmonds. It says deal more than fucking Vegas casino manager. Jesus Christ. Other deities are available.
I wouldn't say waved off. I'm not in a rush to do it because I think that Iran has a chance to have a great country and to live happily without death. And I'd like to see that. That's my first option. If there's a second option.
The balls is this? It's supposed to be about what's happening between America and Italy, and now he's off on one about Iran. All of a sudden, he just won't waste an opportunity to go there. Well, I know some of the questions have been directed about China and whatnot, but he just has to cram in a slide to get everybody who he can, really. We're very far removed away from the original topic, which is, again, the US-Italian relationship, which has historically been strong, obviously. Migration and Italian heritage. So where's this going now?
I think it would be very bad for Iran.
It's going to batshit crazy
And
town.
I think Iran is wanting to talk. I hope they're wanting to talk. It's going to be very good for them if they do. And I'd like to see Iran thrive in the future, do fantastically well. I know the Iranian people, they're incredible people. Always have been very smart, very energetic, very successful people. And I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt anybody. I really don't. But Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. It's, pretty simple. It's really simple. We're not looking to take their industry. We're not looking to...
God's sake. This decades old argument here. I will not sit here and listen to the second most nuclear armed nation in the world point the finger at other countries and say you shouldn't have nuclear weapons. Get the fuck rid of yours then. If you say that people can't be trusted with them, I've got a list here. I've got a list of all of the countries that have ever fired a nuclear weapon at another nation. Phil, this is okay. There's one country on the list, and it is the United States of America, who then points at Iran. 20 years ago, they were pointing at Iraq and saying that they could fire a nuclear weapon within 45 minutes. We know that that was bullshit. Don't get me started on David Kelly. Dr. David Kelly, I should say. Rest in peace. And Robin Cook. And we're hearing the same again and again and again. Before that, it was the arms race against Russia, and obviously all of the Red Scare. Yeah. New century, it's 2025 people, but it's still the same old BS from the US of A.
Take their land. All we're saying is you can't have a nuclear weapon. The deal that was made, with Obama, that deal would have expired already. It was a terrible deal. It would have expired, and that gave them a clear path to a nuclear weapon.
Not only, obviously, I'm anti-nukes, I'm pro-disarmament. Not only do you have to be a complete psychopath to fire a nuclear weapon on another country, the general idea about possessing them is, of course, supposed to be that they act as a deterrent so that nobody will fire their nuclear weapons against you, which is insanely illogical. For reasons I won't get into. But pertaining to Iran specifically, if they have a nuclear weapon, that obviously implies they want to use it as a deterrent, the same way that the United States of America do, the same way that Russia do, the same way that the UK does, the same way that Israel do, and so on and so forth. Then to criticise that implies that you would launch a nuclear weapon against them if you thought that you could get away with it. Because, you know, it's almost... Okay, let me try and put it in another context. Say in everyday life. Okay, so two neighbours don't get along. One neighbour has a criminal record for breaking and entering and burglary. The other doesn't. Okay. The one who doesn't gets word, you know, hears gossip around the estate or the street, wherever, that the resident in question does have that criminal record of burglary and sets up a brand new burglar alarm, home security, perhaps, you know, fencing, whatever. And then the neighbour, who's a burglar, and so on and so forth, goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" You know. So it's almost the same thing. The same sort of arguments go for gun ownership in America, but that's another topic.
I wouldn't have accepted. That's why I terminated the deal. Number one, it was way too short. You know, when countries are involved, you don't make short-term deals. These are countries with long lives. And I terminated that. And it was a great termination because it didn't allow us to do anything. Once it terminated, you know what the deal was. It was a terrible deal. Really, one of many terrible deals made by the U.S. But no, I'd like to see Iran thrive. And they can do that, I think, very easily, or they can do it the other way. And the other way is not going to be good for them. It's going to be really bad for them.
Bloody hell. Just... Truth is, they want Iran, you know, out of the way, so to speak. They want them to be as little threat as possible so that Israel can get the fuck away with so much more destruction and occupation in the Middle East. I think that's completely apparent. Even Netanyahu himself has stood up in front of the United Nations with maps that show other countries that he wants to take over now. There's obviously Hamas resisting that within Palestine. But on the broader sense, the biggest resistors thus far to Israel in the last 2 years have been Lebanon and Iran. So that's the broader political, that's the real honest thing about it. But again, don't sit on thousands of nuclear weapons, which America has, and then say that Iran can't even have one. Because you look at what America did to Iraq, who of course ultimately didn't have any weapons of mass destruction as claimed, or the biological weapons that were claimed at the time by the likes of Donald Rumsfeld in America, and obviously Tony Blair tagged along with that, and the 45-minute claim in the United States, and that was one of the lies used, and it was voted on in Parliament. And that was when they didn't have nukes. So if Iran do have a nuke, what do you think America might do there? And remember, estimates range, but I'd say an average of around 2 million people died as a consequence of the illegal invasion of Iraq. And his country, Trump's country, and ours do still have blood on our hands for that, and I'm very ashamed to have been a citizen of one of the countries that wasn't. I certainly remember being against it at the time anyway. Alright, cracking on, people. Goodness, it's getting late. Sorry. I'm going to have a second wind here, but I'm fading a little. I'm still with you, people. I've got the Solidari-Tea.
Well, Jensen's an amazing guy. He's become a friend of mine, and I don't know, he's a person that's very proud of our country. He loves our country. I'm not worried about Jensen at all.
Mr. President, we're hold you in contempt. Will you take steps to return Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the United States and put him in front of a judge?
Well, I'm not involved in it. I'm going to respond by saying you'll have to speak to the lawyers, the DOJ. I've heard many things about him, and we'll have to find out what the truth is. But I will say this, you know, we were inundated by millions of people, many millions of people during the Biden administration. They say 21 million. And a big percentage of those are criminals, serious criminals. I'm not saying just criminal because they came into the border illegally. I'm saying they're criminals at the highest level, murderers. Many of those people murdered more than one person, and they're on the loose. And I was elected to get rid of those.
I'm pretty sure I heard that one of them just had some, like, a couple of fucking speeding tickets or something like that. others didn't have any criminal records at all. He's tried to associate a lot of them with this gang, the name of which escapes me at the moment, but it's supposedly a Latin American gang operating within the domestic United States. But on the broader sense, it's just pure xenophobia. It's just obviously not a solution to the problems that exist in the country, and it's the same with DEI, which I'll go on to again shortly in the stream. Just having a quick check what you're saying in the chat, people, and make sure you've hit thumbs up, by the way. Yeah. Well, that is assuming that you're referring to Trump and not me there, Doc, about the rambling idiot bit. Do get alerts for that now. He doesn't actually say anything. Yeah, quite agree there, Divinity. But that's another way of putting it, yeah. Everything and nothing at the same time. Again, assuming that you talk about Trump, you're a bit paranoid here. Are we joking?
Criminals to get them out of our country, or to put them away, but to get them out of our country. And I don't see how judges can take that authority away from a president. We've done an amazing job, Tom Homan, Kristi Noem. We have done an amazing job. Nobody can believe the job we've done. Far greater than what I said. I mean, I got elected on that, but we've done much better. We have right now 99% border. It's a 99%. Nobody thought that would even be, nobody's coming through our border practically. 2 weeks ago we had 9 people come through, all for medical reasons. We allowed them, we brought them through because one had a heart attack, one had something else, all for medical reasons. We have a great border. We had a great border 4 years ago, but we have a border now that's even tighter, and we did that in a matter of weeks. And no, we have to, we need to get murderers and drug dealers and people that were in jail for horrible, you know, they released jails, Georgia.
The same way I won't hear nuclear armed states say that other countries shouldn't have nukes, won't sit and look at a convicted felon talk about crime and getting rid of crime.
Opened their jails, Venezuela, practically all of their prisoners released into our country. We took them.
Oh, now Meloni's back in the room.
Competent administration called the Biden administration. And to think what they've done to our...
She's just sitting there thinking, what in the fuck has this got to do with Italy? You know, what's happening? Che cosa succedendo?
Country. And I was elected to straighten that out, and I'm doing that. But we have activist judges that don't want murderers to be sent out of our country. They don't want killers and drug dealers and drug lords and people from mental institutions. They want them to stay in our country, I guess. I don't know. Maybe.
I really wish I could, you know, if you could invent time travel, go back to the past. I'd like to take footage of this and show it to a Native American that is a true Native American. Before they were genocided by Europeans as well, Donald. But this just really is absolute gall, the absolute neck, the absolute cheek, whatever you want to call it. Just shameless double standards of, you know, the First Division. And it's positively disgusting.
Maybe that's the liberal way, or as they call it nowadays, the progressive way. But I don't think it's the way that our country believes, and that's why I won in a landslide. Okay.
Mr. President, you did say that you are confident these deals will be done, but you also said that you're in no rush. Americans are seeing prices rise. They're seeing it on their bills. How long can they expect that pain to last?
So they've already seen it get much better, because if you were truthful, which you're not, you know, I know you very well, you have gasoline that hit $1.98 yesterday in a couple of states. You have gasoline's way down. The price of oil has dropped substantially. The price of groceries.
I don't know if that's true. $1.98 is something like £1.70-ish. I think it's actually on average probably cheaper in the UK at the moment, which is strange because well, it has come up on the news recently. Apparently inflation has slowed down because oil prices have gone down. Don't get me started on oil. So I'm not sure if that's anything particularly to gloat about either. It's going on to groceries now as well. Not been keeping up with the eggometer price of eggs recently. If you have, let me know in the chat.
These are substantially down. The price of eggs, you know, when I came
oh, here we
in,
go.
they
Eggs.
hit me with eggs.
Again, I'm not... Yeah. Great source of information, Donald Trump. Who's this lady on the right? She's not said a word, but she's been in the shot the whole time. Sorry, it's just something that's been in my mind there. Can't read the lanyard from here. He's doing the... he's going to start the opening and shutting the invisible curtains at the moment while he lies to us about the price of eggs. What a time to be alive, people.
I just got there. I was here for 1 week and they started screaming
Open,
at me,
close.
"Eggs have gone through the roof."
Open,
I
close,
said,
open,
"I just
close.
got here."
Open.
I was there for 7
Close,
days.
open,
and I hear
bit,
that
close.
eggs have gone through the
Open
roof
a bit
before
more.
I got there. And they
Keep
were
them
screaming
open.
at me, the press, the fake news like you're fake. And the fake news is screaming at me like...
Was he like squeezing some invisible sponge
I've only been
ball?
here, this is my 7th day. And they were right. They went up 87% and you couldn't get them. They said, you won't have eggs.
Oh yeah, of course, it's a gallon, not a litre. How silly of me. Thanks for pointing that out, Super Tiny. Of course, they go by the Imperial. Alright. Oh, $2 for 3 litres, that's $1.50. No, it's about the same then. About the same. So, yeah.
For Easter, which is coming up. Happy Easter, everybody. You won't have eggs for Easter. And we did an unbelievable job, and now eggs are all over the place, and the price went down 92%.
He's talking about fucking chocolate eggs. He's talking about chocolate eggs. He's not talking about, you know, like the chicken eggs that come out of a hen. But, by the way, speaking of eggs, shut those curtains, open them. Open, close, open, close. Happy Easter, everybody. He's going to turn over to Meloni now. Do you have Easter in Italy? And she's going to... Do you have Easter in Italy? Odin, thanks for joining us in the chat. Yeah, good points. I think I know the expression that you're referring to, though. What's that got to do with the price of eggs? It has become meaningful again now. It's a small recompense.
And our Commissioner of Agriculture, Brooke, has done a fantastic job. They really have done a fantastic job. So prices haven't gone up. The only thing that's gone up actually is interest rates, because we have a Federal Reserve Chairman that is playing politics. Somebody that I've never been very fond of, actually. But he's playing politics. Interest rates should be down now.
But you are a politician. I can't stand it when they say people, you know, play politics, playing party politics. It's like, you're fucking politicians. That's what you're supposed to be doing. I don't mean the politicking in the working your way up the ladder. careerist sense. I mean the actual sort of doing politics.
Should be coming down. In Europe, as you know, they reduced them, I guess 7 times. It looks like they're going to reduce them again and again and again. But our guy wants to play cute. But interest rates are pretty much even. Maybe they went up just a slight bit, but that's the only thing. But that's because of the Federal Reserve, because they're not very smart people.
I'll tell you what's not fucking smart is fiat money. Not actually having your currency tied to something physical. Yeah, that's not a great start.
Go ahead, yes, sir, please. Go ahead, please.
Do you regret nominating him, Jerome Powell?
Look, in the first 4 years, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. Stock market went up 88 points. I think he's terrible, but I can't complain because we had the most successful administration economically in the history of our country. I think we're going to do even better this time because you will see that the numbers that we're taking in are astronomical.
If you believe anything he's saying here, anything at all, I've got a bridge to sell you people.
And countries are having a hard time getting used to the fact that they can't do that to us anymore because we have a real president. We have a president that understands what it's all about. We had presidents that
bingo.
in some cases
You're right there, Super, about the world economy. That's what's pushed oil prices down.
And then you had like the last administration, the only thing they were good at was cheating in elections. That's about all they could do. They couldn't do anything. They were useless. They were incompetent. Worst administration in the history of our country. Worse than Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter died a
Ooh, wait a minute. I've been through all that, of course. Is that not libelous? You can say, if you want to quote Richard Nixon, that when the president does it, it is not illegal. But to, again, make those accusations about the last, the election before last being rigged, the one where he lost to Biden. He still won't give that up, will he? Still won't give it up. What they could do, it wouldn't be true, of course. Ironically, and you're not going to hear me say this very often. I can't even believe I'm about to say this, by the way. But give Donald Trump what he wants. Just specific to that point. So you could say, oh, actually, yeah, you did win the election against Joe Biden. So you've had your 2 terms, and that means that you can't be president again because it's in the Constitution that you can only serve 2 terms. So pack your bags and get the fuck out of here. I don't know. Probably wouldn't legally stick. Just an idea.
happy man. You know why? Because he wasn't the worst president. Joe Biden was. So I think you're going to see some fantastic numbers when this all happens. It's happening now. I mean, everybody wants to make a deal. And if they don't want to make a deal, we'll make the deal for them. Because that's what's going to happen. We'll just say, this is what it is. But we want to listen to everybody. And I think I can say for Scott and the other people that are working on it that we're listening and we're going to be very fair to people. But, you know, we're the one that really sets the deal, and that's what we'll be doing. Okay? Yeah, go ahead, please. Please.
Question to our Prime Minister.
Oh, you have a great Prime Minister. You're so lucky. Yes.
In Italiano.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Okay.
I'm not sure that would be.
Presidente Meloni, volevo sapere cosa pensava del fatto che il Presidente Trump ha considerato responsabile Zelensky.
Okay, this question's in Italian. I'm going to do my best. It's a bit quick.
Presidente Trump ha considerato responsabile Zelensky della guerra in Ucraina e poi se avete parlato di...
He's asking if she considers President Trump to be responsible for the security of Ukraine. How does, I think it was something like, how does she see Italy being involved in America's defense of Ukraine?
Massimi a cui può arrivare l'Italia, abbiamo parlato del fatto che l'Italia sta mantenendo i suoi impegni perché arriverà al prossimo vertice della NATO con il 2% che era già previsto, che è stato sottoscritto dai governi precedenti, perché siamo una nazione seria, ma non abbiamo parlato poi di quanto vada aumentata questa percentuale, anche se siamo ovviamente consapevoli.
She's saying that they're going to work closer together. You'll have to excuse me, I'm not like an entirely professional like translator or anything, but I can keep up with the basics of what she's saying there.
Che insomma il tema della difesa sia un tema particolarmente importante di questo tempo. Per quello che riguarda la guerra in Ucraina, lei sa come la penso che ci sia chiaramente diciamo ci sia stata un'invasione e che l'invasore
She's saying it's a very important issue. It's something that she's like very personally passionate about. She knows that Donald Trump is as well.
Da quel punto di vista fosse Putin e la Russia, ma non è questo che diciamo oggi quello che rivela il fatto che insieme vogliamo lavorare, stiamo lavorando per cercare di arrivare in Ucraina a una pace che possa essere giusta e duratura. Penso che questi siano gli sforzi sui quali condividiamo il nostro lavoro, abbiamo condiviso anche oggi il nostro lavoro.
Okay, there was a lot in there, and it was a bit quick. Right, yeah, you'll have to forgive me. I'm gonna have to rewind it a few times, but that was what I've said already is the basis of what she was saying. Apologies, I'd have to skip back a couple of times, but we'll move on. There's still a bit to get through in the clip.
That sounded
What?
absolutely. That was so beautiful. What the hell was that?
It's called Italian. Oh God, Mamma Mia. Oh, Santa Maria. It's like he's never heard Italian before. Like literally. Maybe. That was beautiful. What was that? And then he's gonna be like, I normally have the subtitles. Where's the subtitles? He's looking at the monitor. He'd be looking at a monitor. Where's the subtitles? It's like that doesn't happen on the monitor in real time, Mr. Trump. I did my best there. Andy Carter, awesome. Thanks for the gifted membership. Has that gone through? Fingers crossed. Oh, it did not work. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Bastardo, testa di cazzo. Not you, Andy. Whatever's making it not work. And again, we had a gift from you earlier that went through, and now we've just had another one that hasn't gone through. Where's the consistency? And I'm sure that neither of us have changed our settings, so it's just a random thing. It's just a random thing. So let's carry on with Trump's reaction to hearing Italian for the first time.
What did she say, please? No, I mean, it sounded great.
It was about.
It was beautifully presented, but maybe I could hear what she said. Please, go ahead. Go ahead.
It was about asking.
Hold it.
Have some respect, please.
Thank you. No, wait. I want to hear what she said. Go ahead,
Yeah,
please.
Prime Minister Meloni was asked what she thinks about the fact that President Trump holds Zelensky responsible for the war in Ukraine, and Prime Minister Meloni answered, "Well, actually,
And Nina Sadie as well. Thanks for firing a shot. Keep firing, people. Do appreciate it. Thanks for the attempts nonetheless, even if they're not going through.
The first thing Prime Minister Meloni about the raise in military spending. Of course, Italy will keep its commitments.
Oh, yeah, I missed that bit out about the military spending. Excuse me, bit rusty.
With 2%, and then we will see, because we are absolutely aware of the fact that it is very important
Well, I will do
defense
that.
is very
Wait. I will do that.
important.
They've been asking if we decide on another defensive percentage.
Just quickly, while they're having to explain to him what Italian is. Yeah, Andy, I've thought about that possibility myself. I've definitely not changed any of the settings. Again, just a reminder, anytime I inquire about it, I'm always just told to get the individual members to contact Google support as well, which is a great deal of help.
But I'm not exactly thrilled with the fact that that war started. That was a war that would have never started if I were president. You'd have millions of people living right now that are dead. You'd have cities that would be...
He's doing his, you know, I would have screwed Ukraine over and gotten half of the minerals by now thing already.
Smithereens, laying on the ground in a million pieces, getting hit by rockets, bombs, and bullets. And so I'm not happy with him, and I'm not happy with anybody involved. I think it's a war. I know it's a war. It didn't happen.
Yeah, Davinia, that's true. That's another strange thing about it. Do point that out when I mention that to Google as well. Obviously, gifted memberships go through on other streams, but they're not happening here. Yeah. What are you going to do?
For 4 years. It was never close to happening. It was never even a thought. And I spoke to President Putin about it a lot. It was the apple of his eye, but there's no way he would have ever gone in if I were president. Now I'm trying to get him to stop because, as you know, Russia's a lot bigger. It's a bigger military force. And if you're smart, you don't go involved and get involved in wars that you can blame the man that was sitting in this seat. Biden, he didn't know what the hell was going on, but I can guarantee you that...
Well, yeah, there's obviously a lot to be said about the build-up to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, what they called a special military operation. You can talk about NATO and people creeping towards the border of Russia, but ultimately it was Russia that invaded Ukraine. I don't think, especially the United States again, can say, well, you shouldn't provoke Russia. We're talking about NATO, which is essentially, you know, mostly another branch of USA. Well, it's definitely, again, double standards. Things have all changed now, of course. They're getting on famously, Putin and Trump.
And everybody agrees to it. If I were president, that war would have never taken place. I'm not blaming him. But what I am saying is that...
I don't buy that.
I wouldn't say he's done the greatest job.
I don't buy that.
Okay? I'm not a big fan. I really am. I'm not a big fan. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Presidente Meloni, avete discusso di Cina e della possibilità che l'Europa ponga dei dazi, diciamo, sulla Cina. Mr. President, are you sure about the definition of parasite of European? Would you say again that European parasites?
It's never said.
Would you say again that
European?
Have you said that Europeans are parasites?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't said. I don't know.
He didn't say it.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, probably dug up an old tweet or a quote there and called Europeans parasites. You really wouldn't put it past him, would you? No. So.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead. No, wait. Next.
I'm sure someone will dig that up on Twitter or whatever.
You just said we want to make Europe great again, and we want to do it together with the United
Sure.
West, yeah.
Did you? I guess that's what you said, Mr. Prime Minister. How are you going to do that? And are you looking to do it to counter China, who is really trying to
I hope that Europe is going to be great again. Europe is going through a lot of problems, and a lot of it's having to do with immigration. And I'm not a big fan of Europe and what they've done with immigration at all. And I think they got to get smart, because Europe is being very badly hurt by what they've done with immigration. Now, I'll say this, that the Prime Minister has taken a very tough stand on immigration. And I commented to
Sound familiar?
I said I
Yeah.
wish more people would be like you, having to do with that subject, but they're not. Europe is very important to me. Europe is very important to the world. I want Europe to do very well. I think they have to get a lot smarter on immigration.
But we are beginning to it.
You just put 20% tariffs on the EU. Probably have referred to the EU on several occasions as ripping America off, blah blah blah. America get the bad end of the deal. Again, that's bollocks. Of course he's criticised Europe and the European Union.
Doing it. You've all seen how the policies of the European Union in the last, let's say, 2.5 years have been changing. Okay, at the beginning we were talking only about how we were redistributing illegal migrants coming to Italy. Now we are talking mainly about how to stop illegal migration, work with the countries of origin and transit, and to return people. The European Commission just did the new rules about repatriations and things like that. So things are changing, thanks also to the example that Italy brought in lowering the rates of illegal migration. So we are working now together. So I'm optimistic on that.
Good. I hope so. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
I'd like to ask President Meloni if you have discussed.
Yeah, you're right, Andy. I love Europe, but I hate Europe. I might go there, I might not. Da 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 da. I'll just turn the conversation back towards himself. I'm Italian.
Option of starting here with Italy on satellite communications. And President Trump, if you want to see the Google company growing up,
The Google what?
the Google company,
What about it?
Google business, if you want to see it growing up, it's a great.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, well, we didn't discuss about Starlink. We've been discussing about defense space. We will work together also in the Mars missions. So there are big things to do together, but we didn't discuss it.
Oh, that's you screwed then. Might as well piss the money up the fucking wall.
No, tariffs are making us rich. We were losing a lot of money under Biden, trillions of dollars, trillions on trade. And now that whole tide has turned. We're
What?
making a lot of money. We're taking in a lot of money. Don't forget, we're taking in 25% on cars, 25% on steel, 25% on aluminum, 10% baseline.
What's 25% of zero, Donald? Because what's happening in a lot of cases is they're simply stopping exporting to the United States. It's going on about cars is one of the main ones as well. So countries have stopped importing, countries have stopped exporting. It doesn't matter what figure a tariff you put on a product that isn't getting into your country. It could be 1,000%, but 1,000% of zero is the same as 25%.
We put penalties on China for sending us fentanyl. We put penalties on Mexico and Canada, 25% for allowing fentanyl and allowing the borders to be weak.
This is the country with fully private insurance-based healthcare that runs off of keeping people addicted to pharmaceuticals, to keep them paying for products to be treated as customers and not patients. And again, this guy saying, oh, look, now there's all this fentanyl around the place. Who left, you know, who pushed all of these, all this stuff onto people?
No, we're taking in billions and billions of dollars while I sit here and talk to you. And we didn't take in anything before, other than the tariffs that I put on previous to Biden, which were the tariffs I put on China, where we took in, up until this point, probably $700 billion. They were Trump tariffs. He tried to weaken them. He did everything he could. You know, he got paid money by China, right? The family got paid money, he did. And so I don't know, maybe that was the reason, or maybe it wasn't, but he tried to weaken them, but he couldn't, because there was so much money that his budgets, you know, they couldn't stand not doing it. But I took in the, up till this point, my tariffs on China. Nobody ever took in 10 cents from China. No other president took in 10 cents. I took in more than $700 billion from China. So we're doing very well. I mean, our country's doing very well. They had a bad report today from one of the healthcare companies that had an impact on the stock market. But
yeah, sure, Donald. Right, it's bedtime now, Donald. Meloni's got to get to the airport to catch the plane. Come on now.
this isn't about that. This is really, we're building a base. We're building a country like no other. And again, I had the strongest economy in the history of our country by far. History of any country, probably, but the history of our country in 4 years. And I think this has a chance to be much better.
Can you just clarify on the mineral field? Will that be signed here at the White House with Ukraine on Thursday? Will President Zelensky be coming here for that?
I don't know exactly. I'm going to leave that to Scott. What do you think? Where would it be signed and when?
Yeah, we're still working on the details. We're shooting for around April 26th.
Is there any more detail that you could tell us about what's in that deal and how it came together?
It's substantially what we'd agreed on previously. When the president was here, we had a memorandum of understanding. We went straight to the big deal, and I think it's an 80-page agreement.
This is the Ukraine-Russia deal. God, I think this guy's got a running contest with Pat McFadden for the most sleep-inducing voice. You might be hearing from me a little later in the show.
Do you intend to seek Powell's firing if he doesn't change his stance on rate cuts? Or is that on the table? Or is that
Well, I think he should do the rate cuts, because I think if Europe has done it, it puts us at a disadvantage to Europe. I mean, he plays right into their hands. So I think he should do the rate cuts. We don't have really inflation now. I just said the major things are going down. Oil is great. Oil is way ahead of schedule, and that's because of our policies. But oil is down into the $60, $65 range now per barrel. And I told you, in certain states.
Yeah, come and get it. Come and get a climate collapse. You know, come and get you. Wow. That was the moment where my piss reached 100 degrees centigrade. Just, you know, it builds up and it builds up. Must resist tangents. Must resist tangents. Tangerine face tangents.
We have less than $2 for gasoline, and food is down. Groceries, as we call it, are down.
Food. You could call it food.
Rates, everything's down. Interest rates are pretty flat. They're not. It's not that they're up, but we should be better than flat. We should. If he would lower the interest rate, I think it would have a good impact on that too. But the costs are down. We have very little inflation. I would say we have essentially no inflation. Hard to have inflation when oil goes down, and oil goes down. When Biden came in, oil went through the roof. That's what caused our problem. That and his very dumb spending.
Well, you see if you can get it down to zero. Get us down. It's down. It's worthless. Let's see how far we can get the stock market down. It's going well. Look how cheap everything is. No, Donald. Still there, that lady. She looks like someone who was sent in to tell him something very important. You know, the way that they're doing films. You know, the meteor's coming, or whatever scientist is outside. It's going to tell you something that you'll ignore. And no, she's had to sit there, and now she's just so utterly appalled by what she's heard. She's forgotten the original reason for being sent in there. Just look at her face. She's like, it's difficult to tell if, you know. Sorry, I don't know who this person is. If it's one of Trump's staff, that is certainly not a look of approval.
But when the oil prices go down, and they have gone down a lot, we've gotten it down really good. We've opened it up and we've gotten them down. And that means that people driving cars are going to be paying $2 and $2.50 instead of $4.50. And, you know, even at the end, they tried just for the purpose of the election to get it down. But they had really lost that sucker. That was really, it was not good. But if they had won, oil right now would be at $7 or $8 because of their policy. And we're going to be at about $2. Could be even a little bit less than that.
We're just picking numbers out of the air now. You can't say that with any degree of, so even, you know, the stock market being what it is, you have to be very well informed, at least, to make those sort of predictions. Something that Donald Trump is certainly incapable of.
And you're starting to see it. So I don't know how you can have inflation when oil has come down quite a bit. And I would say the Fed really owes it to the American people to get interest rates down. That's the only thing he's good for. And he would have an effect on that if he lowered them. And I think at some point he will. He's going to have a lot of political pressure. You know, they are political also. And I think there's a lot of political pressure for him to lower interest rates. Okay? Yeah, go ahead. Please.
Do you think that Italy can be your best ally in Europe? And also, do you ever notice when you walk into step on hands?
Only if the Prime Minister remains a Prime Minister can it be our best. she's doing a great job. And
I didn't get aware of the question, sorry.
Certainly one of our great allies, not just in Europe.
It's near the end now. I want to get through this. Sorry, I've lingered on this
and our relationship is
topic
great.
for far too long.
We have a lot of
We'll be moving on very shortly, people. Thanks for sticking it out.
And they voted for Trump.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, stop. Whoever's tapping that microphone, it's getting right down my ear. Okay, right, that was that. You've already heard my 2 cents as went through. I won't do any sort of post-analysis on that one, but let me know what you think about it in the chats and in the comments if you're watching back on a replay. I'll just be one moment, people, and I'll be moving on. Hit those buttons, people. I'll be right back with you in just one moment. Okay, people, I'm going to skim over a couple more stories or so now. Where to begin? Just going to jump over to the screen. Yeah, we'll start with the... so there was a Supreme Court ruling about what defines people's gender. A lot of campaign groups, pro and anti-trans, have been campaigning about this over the weeks and months. But the court ruling ruled that what defines a person's gender is their so-called biological gender that they were at birth. So unfortunately, a lot of people on the right have been seeing this as a win in this, you know, the fabricated so-called war on woke, the culture war, as it were, which hasn't been great. It's also sparked concern from campaign groups that this is going to lead to a lot more oppression on trans communities. There have been questions about how you police this sort of thing. It pertains to things such as the usage of which bathrooms, public bathrooms people can use. Sports as well has come into this. But I think this is an important time to stand in solidarity with those communities. Now they've said that the NHS will be pursued if gender policies don't change, an equalities watchdog has said in this article. I'll take a quick look at that, and then I want to go over some of the finer points and yeah, my personal views as well. Look at these signs here. No man can be a lesbian. Women are adult human females. But it is, you know, it's somewhat of a I'll come on to this in a bit, it's just such a non-issue. But now that this has happened just one day ago, the Equality and Human Rights Commission say the NHS will be pursued if it does not follow new guidance on single-sex spaces. Along with other public bodies, the NHS will be receiving guidelines after the Supreme Court unanimously ruled a woman's defined by biological sex under equalities law. So what this essentially, yeah, like I said, the spaces include hospital wards, changing rooms, and domestic refuges. But how do you police this? Well, you can't, basically. Just get through that point about it very quickly. What you're going to have people on guard at you know, what they're going to do, and then you get taken to one side and questioned or inspected or something like this. my goodness, have they not got, you know, more important things to think about anyway? So this, oh God, I'm not playing this. Baroness Faulkner talking to Nick Robinson on BBC Radio 4's Today programme. There's a couple of quotes here. Yeah, single sex changing rooms. She says it's a victory for common sense. Only if you recognise that trans people exist, they have rights, and their rights must be respected. British Transport Police said trans women in custody will now be searched by male officers as an interim measure while it reviews policies and practices. Yeah, and one thing that crosses my mind, again, how do you enforce these kinds of things? And obviously within the trans community, you have people who appear to be obviously in separate, be they male to female or female to male trans as well. Again, on the broader side of things, again, I don't see what the threat is. It's just right-wing gammons pointing at people who want to identify as whatever gender, and that's enough to ruin their lives, apparently. And they can't suffer it, you know. And even a lot of well-known celebrities have been brought into this. One of the co-writers of Father Ted, Graham Linehan, actually got divorced by his wife for his continuous persistence in, well, essentially badgering and attacking the trans community online. Also, J.K. Rowling, I think as well. I saw a few people on social media commenting on a post that she put up. Unfortunately, as I said, the right have seen this as a win, something to gloat about. Common sense, as they would put it. But sitting there with a glass of something expensive and a huge cigar, I think she was saying that she loves it when a plan comes together, was the quote. Bloody hell, you know. And you're right there, Andy. That's something I'm concerned about as well. A lot of below average intelligence bigots might see this as a green light. Unfortunately, to be attacked, whether it's online trolling or physically, I'm sure a lot of people out there are very worried about this at the moment. And now here's one. Just quickly, Karen Smith, Health Minister, said the government will be reviewing the ruling to make sure the government are fully compliant with it, and would be working with equal bodies to make sure organisations were fully compliant. But then goes on to say the government's not interested in so-called culture wars. But, well, you've literally just pandered to it right there, and yeah, it is a Supreme Court ruling, I guess ultimately the court bears responsibility for this decision. But this is what the culture war is all about. Well, it's phony. Again, it's certainly not going to solve the problems that this country has just by changing what defines someone's gender. You know, tomorrow we're all going to wake up and it'll more or less be the same, other than people in the trans community will now be obviously a little more worried. So there's no win. Where's the win? And I do know members in the trans community, so Solidari-Tea with everybody. I hope you're okay. Do let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're affected by this topic and what you feel about it. I, for one, you know, don't feel uncomfortable if I walk into a public toilet or whatever, in whatever public building. I mean, not like ones on the street. They've been gone for decades. There are even ones in Manchester that have been turned into very small pubs now, but that's another topic. But yeah, no problem. We'll see, you know, wouldn't bother me any more than anybody else walking into a bathroom. I'm not interested in their business. I wanted to say as well, recent personal experience, just about how this gets under the skin of gammons so much. I'll try and condense this story down as quickly as I can. Happened a few months ago. I was out one evening having a few drinks in a bar. It was fairly quiet in the pub that I was in. I'd say there were around 10 to a dozen people in there, one of whom at one point started to talk at me, and I say talk at me, that is, it wasn't a conversation in the sense of back and forth. He started to talk about music. This was an older gentleman, maybe in his 50s, early 60s, I don't know. He was talking about gigs that he'd been to in the 80s. This is so he's into like thrash, heavy metal, Metallica and the like. He was talking about Metallica and so on and so forth. I couldn't really get a word in edgeways, but which is why it was like being talked at. You know, you get to a point in the conversation where you're just like, you know, you need to close it off and whatnot, but you never get the opportunity. It was kind of one of those. So he's going on for some time, about 10 minutes or so, and I'm listening to all of his stories, and he's on a trip down memory lane and blah blah blah. And then I swear, what's that got to do with this trans issue? Lefty, I hear you cry. Is it a tangent alert? No, people. Because then what happened, he was in the middle of talking to me. I think it was about having watched a band at the Apollo here in Manchester at one point. And then he stopped at the end of a sentence, sort of took a breath in, and then he sort of did a bit of pointing and says, "But what I want to know is, and I want you to tell me this now, how many genders are there?" And I was just like, he just took the conversation after 10 minutes non-stop of talking about you know, like music and going to concerts and stuff like this, and literally just turned around, took a breath, and then then all of a sudden he wanted to hear me speaking, you know, after 10 minutes of talking at me. And first of all, I said, well, you, like, obviously pointed out he's changed the topic quite abruptly there. And then I was asking, does he mean how many genders are there on the census form? Like, you know, officially I said, well, I think your options are male, female, prefer not to say an other, and all this. But then he started to turn to other people around the bar and ask them just literally anybody who was in the vicinity, like he was doing a one-man survey. And we just couldn't believe it. Bearing in mind, I know for a fact that there were people in the bar who have been in relationships with trans people, and also he was stood right next to a gay guy. So it just like increased another layer of awkwardness. But as he was going around and pointing and asking different people, eventually he got to one of the bar staff, actually, who was on the customer side of the bar, just happened to be on the break having a conversation with someone. And then he was going off on one, you know, a bit louder and louder, so he asked him to sort of keep his voice down, and then the guy in question said, "Don't talk to me like that," blah blah blah. Gave out to him, which wasn't a particularly good idea. Don't think he realised that he was a member of staff or whatever. So then I guess he didn't get thrown out, but he got a good talking to anyway. But we just couldn't believe it. And that's the sort of people who we're dealing with here in the public, where it's, you know, it's filtered down. These are the people who are going to go running to reform at the ballot box, perhaps. We hope not. At the next election. Yeah, there's a lot of, shall we say, cross-pollination, as it were. Oh, if I use the word poly, they might, I might trigger them. But no, seriously though, between discrimination against trans people and misogyny as well. Yeah, misogyny and transphobia often go hand in hand, which is kind of ironic, don't you think? But try getting any sense out of people who'd go and vote reform. Okay, people. Might come back to that topic in later live streams. I'll just leave it there for now. Yes, Andy, good point. Just wanted to say I'm not trying to... Not all Metallica fans are like that, I'm sure. Just this particular one. He could have been talking about anything. Because like I said, it wasn't a conversation, and then he just... Oh, like 2 seconds. Took one breath. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. Of all the people to... What do you think you are, some sort of sociologist or something? Okay. What's next? Got a few bookmarks here, have to be. Goodness me, it's 12:20. I will zoom through the rest of the topics. Okay, yeah, we've done that one. Oh, yeah, very quickly. Like, yeah, segue-tastic. I did that by accident, but it seems to have worked out pretty well. As I said, those sort of people will be rushing potentially to vote for reform at the next election, and here's why. Are you sitting down, people? You might need an Irish coffee as your hot tasty beverage after you lay your eyes on this from Stats for Lefties in a poll that they released today. So this suggests, unfortunately, let's, cross your fingers, God, a majority for reform with 342 seats, people. That's an increase of 2%. Labour treading water, the Tories losing another percent, and apparently the other percent coming from a slip. And the vote for the Greens, which are kind of odd. This is the way, constituency first past the post system works. There's a few statistical anomalies. This does, however, mean that the Greens look set to gain 3 seats, although look right there at the top. Hope you can see that okay, people. Yeah, 342 for Reform, just 83 for Labour. Andy, thanks a lot for taking another shot. Will someone please take the gifted membership proof vest off of the live stream? Okay, what else is there? Excuse me. I need to wet my whistle. And what else can we take from this, people? This would also, if you thought things couldn't get any worse for the Tories, leave them with just 57 seats, which would put them behind Lib Dem, who, according to this, would be just 2 seats behind Labour. You can see a lot of orange there. In fact, that stands out a lot more than the red. Obviously, the Reform vote taking up a lot of England, but also penetrating into Wales as well. But when you look at Scotland, they obviously, in their wisdom, reject that kind of right-wing crap, and it looks as though Labour are all but obliterated in their entirety in Scotland, who would gain 35 seats, leaving them with 44. And lo, how the Tories used to mock the SNP about the size of their party at the dispatch box, amongst other things. They would find themselves ahead of the SNP by just by 13 seats. Just 13 seats between the Tories and the SNP. Now, if you'd have told somebody, 14, 15 years ago, that might happen, yeah, they just about get over the line with a very slim minority government. Well, you can cross your fingers and hope that doesn't happen. Again, all the more reason to bandy together. I'll be talking about elections in the local sense a bit more as we get closer to that next month, in just a few weeks, in fact. And I think we've had a raid. I think we've had a raid. Yes, Kevin Logan. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome to the Brews at 10 on my left eye. I'm pretty sure I got a notification for a raid there. Yeah, do join us. We're just looking at latest poll doesn't make for good reading if you're a socialist, which we are, of course, here on My Left Eye. Thanks for joining us. Politics and society from a left-wing point of view. Sorry, just a quick mention on who the poll is by. It's the Find Out Now survey which was published 2 days ago, or a day and a bit ago, as we've just gone over midnight. Thanks again to Kevin Logan for the raid. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat are already familiar with Kev, but if you're not, or if you're watching back on a replay, do check out Kevin Logan. Great stuff, like I said earlier in the stream. Always great to see Kev and Helena at No Justice together, so Solidari-Tea to both of those channels, check them out. So yeah, not one MP in Scotland is one of the comments. Oof. Well, you can call that a very, very small recompenses. It would obviously give the neo-libs no room to talk about the 2019 election result, which wasn't the worst result ever, as they claim. Of course, that accolade goes to Gordon Brown, minus 91 seats. But that's what they said. So that's not okay. And that's after just a very small change of just 2%. And all of a sudden it's painted purple. So I just wanted to bring that one your way. That's Stats for Lefties, of course. Give them a follow. Moving on abruptly now over to things in the Middle East. So I'm going to have to start on a downer, unfortunately, but then we'll sort of work our way upwards towards, the resistance and the response to the occupation in Palestine. But just some of the latest news, and as usual, they're at it again. This time attacking a tented area. There's precedence for this, of course, as well. And of course, once a fire starts in one of the tents, it spreads and it's caused dozens of deaths, including children. Unfortunately, at least 37 people in total. I'll just skim through this. We'll hear the usual, Israel will say that the tents were made of Hamas. Literally the very fabric. It's like, what? And they're just reminding us that Hamas, obviously, they refused the ceasefire deal. Again, Israel put lots of ridiculous terms in there. I remember one of them being that they demanded that Hamas completely disarm themselves. So again, that was thrown under a bus, perhaps deliberately. But again, it's heartbreaking to hear about this and read about this, especially the number of people who've been killed, and again, children among them killed as they slept. So I just skim through, I won't read through. A lot of the harrowing details we are more than familiar about the atrocities committed by Israel at this point here on my left eye. I'm sure you are as well, unfortunately. This has to come for an end. They have to be officially condemned for their actions, and action certainly should be taken. And I'm going to come on to that in just one moment. I've got a few bits lined up about Gaza. 1 second. Here's another one. And it's, well, you let me know what you think about this. I'm trying to be optimistic, and you could see this as a positive in the sense that it's touched a nerve. So members sent an open letter criticising Israel's actions, and the head of, it's the biggest, I believe, biggest communal body of Jews in the UK has responded to an open letter signed by some of its representatives criticising Israel's offensive in Gaza. Phil Rosenberg, who's the president of the Board of Deputies of British Jews, said he disagreed with the letter, which he says lays blame squarely on the Israeli government. Well, of course, you know, that's plain for all to see. And of course, large areas of the Jewish community are utterly ashamed about what's being carried out in their name. So like I said, that does seem to have touched a nerve. So if that's how the members feel, then that's got to be the case. But he specifically criticised the letter for the lack of mention of Hamas, stating that it gives the group absolutely no agency regarding the failure of the implementation of the second stage of the hostage deal. So because they actually said who's responsible, who should be criticised, they've come back, but you forgot to condemn Hamas. So that's more or less what it says. Obviously, lots of communities are speaking out against Israel and in support of Gaza. I've seen people on marches as well, multiple times. I'm sure that people who are watching, people from Jewish communities, also agree with that criticism. However, people, let's try and end on something a bit more positive. How are people reacting to this? How are other countries reacting to actions like the attacks on the tent that I just mentioned, as well as everything else that Israel have done throughout the decades-long occupation as well? Thanks for throwing up the Palestine flags in the chat. Really do appreciate that, people. Solidarity, of course, with Palestine. As always, here on my left eye. You might have heard one or two things that have been happening internationally. Here's a quick one just on the culture front as well, I guess. Lebanon has banned the Snow White movie from playing in movie theatres due to Gal Gadot's casting. She was, of course, in the IDF prior to becoming a professional full-time actress. So according to representatives for Italia Films, she's been on an Israeli boycott list in Lebanon for a long time. No movie that she stars in is released in the country. Too bad. Get the small violins out, people. Also this week as well, the Maldives have said that they won't let anybody in on an Israeli passport as well. So it's good to see the BDS spreading and increasing in strength as well. Let's keep that up, people, of course. Especially where, you know, products as well are concerned. Mentioned that multiple times on the channel. Check out which products you should be avoiding. James Holmes, appreciate the shot there at the gifted membership. Unfortunately, looks like it hasn't landed. Just to quickly explain to new viewers here, just a bit of a technical problem at the moment with gift memberships going through. But thanks all the same, James Holmes. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us tonight. Lebanon flags as well. Thanks for that, Andy Carter. Worth a shot. It's always worth a shot. It's almost turned into a game in itself now. Really. More and more nations as well, of course. Just back to the BDS and support for Palestine. Increasingly officially recognising Palestine as a state, which of course has to be done. And celebrating 3 months of membership. Thanks a lot, James. I do appreciate that. It's been great to have you with us here on My Left Eye. Excellent recommendation there from Andy Carter. One final piece on one final bit on support for Palestine. That is protest. Now, many of you, including myself, are certainly aware of Bernie Sanders, the United States politician, and whilst it's very easy to agree on what he said about the wealth gap in society and other social injustices, there's one core issue that people are particularly dissatisfied with, and that of course is the issue of the occupation, and how he won't call it out for what it is and refuses to call it a genocide. Now of course Bernie Sanders is supposed to be on the left, but this is obviously a huge issue for people on the left, and the fact that he refuses not only to acknowledge the genocide but has also gone down the road of saying that Israel has the right to defend itself. Don't set me off about that one. But it's brought huge criticism, and now that's filtered down to interruptions during his speeches, rallies and so on and so forth. So we're going to see a compilation of clips from that. Do like to keep up with protests and things here on the Brews at 10. Check out some of the previous content if you want to see more about that, including my own escapades in protest and non-violent direct action. If you're new to the channel tonight as well, please make sure you've hit thumbs up and subscribe. So enjoy these few minutes of Bernie Sanders being heckled by some excellent protesters. just wanted to quickly give props to I think it was Quds network that this came from. Just credit where it's due, people.
Israel does not have a right to exist or fight when the Palestinians are dying. There's a genocide, and you do not call it a genocide. You don't stand for the Palestinians. Call it a genocide. You do not stand for the Palestinians. You voted Marco Rubio. Bernie Sanders, you are a Zionist. You are a liberal Zionist. You are a liberal Zionist. You're complicit. You voted for Marco Rubio. You are complicit with ICE. You are complicit with ICE. Free the food on hand. You're a liberal Zionist. Bernie, why don't you let your fans know that you are a settler, that you occupy Palestinian land? Right now. You occupy Palestinian land.
So there's one, yeah, directly. Bernie Sanders has his own property in Palestine, in occupied Palestine, which of course is where it is. It's not Israel, it's occupied Palestine.
You are responsible for the bloodshed in Gaza. Free Palestine. You are responsible for the bloodshed in Gaza. You yourself are a settler.
Do you remember during the interruptions when Kamala Harris was campaigning and she came back with the I'm speaking thing? It doesn't look like that worked out very well for her in the end, does it? That's not not me speaking in favour of Donald Trump by any means, but I just think that was a big political mistake from Kamala, as well as obviously a bad political choice. And the same goes for Bernie Sanders if he's going to choose to ignore hecklers or the issue, try and dodge the issue. And even when he does say anything about the issue, he says the wrong thing. So it looks like he's been found out as a neo-lib shill on this issue.
Unless people demand something, power is not going to give up.
Free Palestine!
So I don't know if this is the same person interrupting or if it's multiple people at various different stages, but they certainly are persistent. Whether it's one or multiple people, you've got to give credit to that. Well done. Well, I'm surprised they didn't get arrested. That probably would have happened if they'd have done that over here. Oh, is this who it's actually from? I got this from the Quds network, but it's the United Liberation Front for Palestine. Liberation through action and struggle. It says so. That's who the original content comes from. Credit to them. And credit to that protester as well. Check them out. Tonight, fighting for Palestine. Oh, I like it. Kind of matches my colour scheme aesthetic as well. Nice. Nice, I'm going to check them out. I'm pretty sure I've heard the name before. Is that debunked, that one, Andy, about the property in Palestine? Keep me posted on that. I might just make a mental note of that and look into that myself. I'm pretty curious about that. I know that he has said the things that he's accused of saying for a fact. That, you know, Israel has a right to defend itself. No, actually, there's Palestinians who have every right to defend themselves. Trigger alert, warning. But it'll pass. It'll pass. What do you think about that, people? Are you you're not feeling the burn anymore? Like I said, he's spot on a lot of other issues. Equality, especially how much American wages are stagnating compared to that of CEOs, and so on and so forth. And it's often a delight to watch him laying into the wealthiest 1% or the top percentage, top fraction of the top 1%. But on this one, that is certainly where my politics and his part ways. I'm sure the feeling is mutual amongst yourselves, good people, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters and their thems alike. So great to see people still standing up to politicians as well and pressing the issue. Speaking of which as well, just to we'll use that as a quick excuse to do a bit of a quick personal plug. There's going to be content as I attend latest protest march down in that there London. Not this weekend coming up, but the one afterwards, so do look out for content around that and check out some of the previous content if you want to see previous thoughts and escapades on all kinds of protests. So right now, people, I'll be closing off very soon. This is certainly one of the longest live streams I've done on the Brews at 10. So I'll leave that there for now. And just a final reminder, people, this is a channel about politics and society from a left-wing perspective. Do like to keep things serious. There are serious topics that we discuss, but we do like to have a few laughs on the way. Just a quick reminder on a hopefully comedic route to getting interactive with the channel. This is the latest feature which launched last week, the latest edition of the feature. It's the Brews at 10, the album. I also played the latest in the Pat McFadden Experience series at the top of the stream, so please do check that video out. That one's public. Oh, sorry, that was the Angela Rayner one, which is members only at the moment, I should have said. And the previous one, Wes Streeting's public. So this is the Brews at 10, the album. Do throw us your suggestions for tea-based songs and artists. I'm going to see a few examples in this handy little infomercial that's been put together.
Do you like a hot tasty beverage with your music? Then My Left Eye has got a treat for your ears. The Brews at 10, the album, all your favourite beverage-based hits from the 1960s to now, all in one place.
Volume 2 is now available, featuring From Tea to Brew, The Beatles, Brews of the World, The Jam, Stand By Tea, Benny King, Spaceman, Babylon Brew, Times Like Teas, Brew Fighters, plus many more. Order now.
Apologies there, that was last week's clip, but you get the general idea. Do throw your suggestions my way, and I might perhaps be compiling those in a members only playlist as we go along. So just one of the other benefits of being a member on the channel. Did I say members on the channel? Yeah, I think I did. I'll just have to remove the chat. Alright people, thanks again to all the members. Apologies for that, I think I had a mic out for a bit, but it was just the old self-promotion there. Hit the perks if you want all the benefits of joining the channel. Now over 100 members, that's been awesome. Thanks a lot to the Brew crew. Just bear with me, go adjust some of the sound settings. There we go. So I will be back, people, as we come towards the end of the stream now. I'll be back with you on Sunday, but stay where you are for now. Let's see if anyone's live, if you want to have a bit of a stream marathon and keep things going. Yeah, it's the Sunday live stream, so please join me for that. This coming Sunday. Okay. Got the Surf Times, which I'm not sure if I've raided into before, but apparently I'm subscribed, so that does ring a bell actually. I think it was a recommendation. So that's set now, we're going to raid over there. I'm going to come off myself for a bit, let's say hello. Alright, I'll leave it there, it's been quite a lengthy one, but it's been really great, like I said. Thanks for joining me tonight. This has been the Brews at 10 on My Left Eye. I've been your host, Lefty. I'll see you over on the raid. But take care, everybody. My left eye will be seeing you soon. Good night.